Let's go. Awesome. Welcome, guys. So excited to have you here. I'll be hosting today's Zoom with my partner in crime, James. And we're just excited to share everything we know about Bitcoin and show you guys how you can create wealth with it at the lowest risk possible. Because I'm sure everyone over here on this presentation has been hearing so much about Bitcoin and how people are making themselves wealthy with it, but you probably have no idea how to get started, or maybe you're just overwhelmed with all the information, so you just don't know how to just put the pieces together so that you can make it happen too. So what James and I put together today is something that will help you just kind of help you understand what this is all about and how people are creating wealth with it and freedom. James and I have actually met some of these people who have created ultimate freedom. I'm talking like mansions and just living the life of their dreams. And so this is what this presentation is all about. I'll give a very quick intro and allow James to introduce himself as well, but we'll keep this quick because this presentation is all about you. But we just want you to know who we are so that it's not just some random stranger talking to you. But my name's Kiara, and I've been basically doing online marketing for about 4 years now or more. And in the beginning I did the usual affiliate marketing, so to speak, getting involved with network marketing companies and things like this. And I got involved with it because I wanted freedom. I don't want to be tied to a job and have to commute to work every early morning and have to deal with the freaking alarm. I would snooze it at least 5 times before I actually wake up, and have to deal with a horrible boss. And I was just so unmotivated. I just couldn't fulfill my utmost potential doing what I was doing in an office job. So that's how I came online. And like I said, I did network marketing for a while, and I did really well with it. It did create the freedom I wanted. However, I was then introduced eventually to Bitcoin, and I had been hearing about it, but I just didn't have the right person to get me on board with it. Well, luckily, I was on a trip in Malta, and a very good friend of mine in San Diego is probably here today on the Zoom call, and if he is, we'll get him to speak at the end. But he said, "Oh, there's a really good buddy of mine. He's in Malta, and I'd love for you to meet him." And there was no intention of getting him to get me involved in Bitcoin. So I met him and his wife, and this guy is he lives the most amazing lifestyle. He's traveling to so many countries every year. And anyhow, he was talking to me about Bitcoin, and he explained he sent me some Bitcoin so I could understand how it works. And that's how it got started, and that's been over a year ago. And I've just created so much wealth with it. I've never had anything in my possession that has created as much freedom as much as Bitcoin has. It truly is such an amazing thing to get involved with, because it's an asset that appreciates over time. But we'll talk more about that in a second. So now I am sharing the good news about Bitcoin and how people can create wealth with it. I've already helped hundreds of people together with James and some other awesome people in the game. And yeah, we're just excited to share everything we know with you. And I'll just give it up to James so that he can say his part, and then we can get on with the presentation. On to you, James.
Awesome. I had a problem with my microphone for a second. Oh, awesome stuff. Yeah, my background is that I've been in network marketing and internet marketing in the home-based business industry now full-time, almost 18 years. It'll be 18 years next month. It's pretty exciting. Before that, I was obviously part-time when I still had a 9-to-5 job. And, when I was going to college, I actually dropped out of college because the idea of trading time for money never really sat well with me. It never made much sense to me. Even as a younger kid, it didn't make sense. A lot of that had to do with I had an entrepreneur for a father. He was in the restaurant industry. He actually was a New York City police officer that got hurt in the line of duty, so he had to retire early, and then needed to figure out what to do, and he ended up actually getting into the restaurant industry here in New York. So I would work in his restaurants as a little kid and see my dad as the boss, and everyone wants to be, little boys want to be like their dad lots of the time, right? So I looked up to him, and he's, still my best friend and a mentor to me to this day. But I remember just seeing him as the boss and kind of calling the shots and having all the pressure on his shoulders. And that's something that always resonated with me. It's not for everybody, but, I didn't want to get into the restaurant industry because as I got older and saw how hard he had to work and how many hours he had to put in and how many holidays he missed and things like that because he was working, just didn't want to take that exact path. But like I said, just working for somebody else, trading time for money, it literally made me nauseous when I was going to college, the thought of having to do that. So anyway, I just started to basically teach myself, self-taught in the beginning, because if you think back over 20 years ago, for those of you that were in the space then, if any of you were, there was no YouTube, no Facebook, no training courses on how to do any of this stuff. So everything was just trial and error. And it was brutal. I mean, I got pretty beat up badly in this industry in the beginning, trying different things, failing over and over and over again. But my mindset was always, fall down 7 times, get up 8. I'm very relentless, very persistent, and I just knew it was a matter of time before I broke through and started to figure this stuff out. And I remember to this day when I was struggling, I said to myself, I know I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to start making a consistent living from this. And when I do, I'm going to always give back and help people get there much faster than I did, because I don't want them, if I can do anything in my power to shorten their learning curve and help them avoid this pain and this torture I'm going through right now, I'm going to do everything in my power to help them kind of move through that faster. It's much easier to learn from someone else's mistakes than making your own mistakes, right? We're all going to make mistakes. None of us are perfect, but there's something to be said to be working with a group of people that have a ton of experience where you can learn from some of the mistakes they've made in the past. So fast forward to Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency space. Last year, I finally started to kind of get into Bitcoin and crypto and learn more about it. And the more I learned about it, the more fascinated I got. I was just like blown away how incredible the entire space is, Bitcoin, the blockchain technology. And there's still so much more to learn. But I just figured out pretty quickly that this is somewhere I wanted to be. I wanted to live and breathe in this space and figure out a vehicle that would allow me to acquire Bitcoin without having to come out of pocket for it, and also assist other people to do the same thing if that's what they were interested in. Because even then, we're talking about January 2017 now, Bitcoin was under 1,000 a coin. But even then, once I did my research and realized how it worked, I knew that the price of Bitcoin, was going up. And it's not a matter of if it's going to go up a lot, it's just a matter of when, in my opinion. But I was looking for months and months for an opportunity or a vehicle, like I said, that can help me acquire it, earn it. And everything I saw out there was an absolute scam. Clearly a money game, clearly something built on sand, program after program that I reviewed. And I wasn't interested in that at all, so I avoided those. And I was getting very frustrated. And then Kiara and I have a mutual friend, Pete, from San Diego. I spoke to him in late May, and he told me as part of this Bitcoin mining operation, where they have a flagship facility out of Iceland, and he's been a customer and investor passively for a year and a half. I was blown away by the passive returns that he was getting, and not talking to anybody about it. He's got another successful business that had, takes up most of his time. But at this time that last year, he had some free time coming up, and he said he's going to start to, share the crowdfunding aspect of this, which we'll get into a little bit later. But he was starting to build a team, and I was one of the first people he talked to. So as soon as he showed it to me, I was like blown away, because it was like everything I was looking for. I was looking for something extremely solid, stable, something that I could feel confident putting my whole heart and soul into. And, the rest is history. Kiara and I have been a part of it now, like she said, for over a year, and it just keeps getting better and better. So I can go on and on about this stuff, so I'm going to throw it back to Kiara so we can continue with the presentation, and look forward to sharing a little bit more a little bit later on.
Awesome. Thanks, James. All right, so let's get cracking. So I want to ask you guys a question first, and I want you to utilize the chat and feel free to engage with us during the presentation. James will keep an eye on the chat, and so will I during the presentation, even though both of us will be talking. So do feel free to engage, but I want to ask you like a question. So what if you learned how to use the best performing asset to create the life you love? How will this change your life? And don't be afraid to think small here, because when I got started with online marketing, I had like basic, and I call them basic now, like really basic dreams, like get out of, like don't have a boss anymore, not have to go to an office job, earn at least 10K a month, travel the world. And guys, I've ticked all of those off, and I had other dreams like speaking on stage and, inspiring people. And I've ticked all of those boxes off. So those to me mean nothing anymore. Not they mean nothing, it's just that I have bigger, like really, really much bigger vision now of helping people create time freedom, not having to go to work. Because I understand what it's like for people who still have a job, it's no fun. I have friends that still commute to work, and they're always like complaining about, how they have to go back to work on a Monday, and how stressful it is to, have to report to a boss. I have actually a friend who has to report to at least 20 bosses, like superiors, and I was like, what? That's crazy. Like I couldn't handle two. So these are just some of my dreams now. Well, Tesla isn't a big one because I'm really happy with being sustainable and using the metro. But if I did have to have a car, it would definitely be a Tesla. But these are like definitely on my vision board. And I actually added this one recently. It's having breakfast with giraffes in Kenya. They actually roam free, but then in the morning they come and have breakfast with people. It's so awesome. And I love animals. So this is like a big dream for me. Traveling first class everywhere I go. That's actually a Middle Eastern airline. It's a first class. That would be your seats. Literally, it just turns into a bed. You have a TV and everything, and you have your own private little cabin. And travel to resorts, amazing ones around the world. Like this one's in Dubai. It has an underwater suite, and I think that costs like $12,000 for a weekend. But I'm telling you, it's something like Bitcoin. You guys can really create freedom. So it would be nice if you guys want to just use the chat and talk about just if you want to write something about what would really change, like how will this change your life? Like what could you do? Just feel free to use the chat. But yeah, so why Bitcoin is the key to your freedom. And I'll give you guys like a fact to start with, and then I'll move on to the agenda. But this is just going to help you understand where Bitcoin is going, okay? So to be exact, a Bitcoin investor who purchased $10,000 worth of Bitcoin in 2010 would have earned $201,056,000 by May 2017. So literally 10K would make you over $200 million. Let's say you bought 10,000 worth in 2010, okay? Last year you would be worth over $200 million. And that's just literally by buying some Bitcoin. And I'm going to show you guys how you can do that. So if you guys want, like literally right after this presentation, you guys can go and get started with the process of purchasing Bitcoin. This is just fascinates me. And a lot of people think like gold is like a really great asset and silver, and I'm not saying they're not, but if you have to compare Bitcoin to gold, and I'll give you guys an example, like a fact here about gold, but an investor who purchased $10,000 worth of gold in 2010 would have experienced a negative return of 9,981 by May 2017. So that's that really I always thought gold was a great investment. I don't know much about metals and things like this, but this really shocked me. So clearly the best performing investment in a short period of time is Bitcoin, okay? Now here's another thing you need to know about Bitcoin. Bitcoin doesn't work like fiat currencies. When I say fiat currency, I mean the yen, euro, dollars, the currency we're used to trade, using every day. With fiat currencies, an unlimited supply can be created, but with Bitcoin, only 21 million will be generated. All right, and we're still generating them right now. So this is why it's still a good time to come in. All right, so because we have a cap of how much Bitcoin can be created, all right, the more Bitcoin is going to grow in demand, and that's happening every single day right under our nose, the more valuable it will become over the next few years, okay? So our agenda for today. So what is Bitcoin? Okay, so for those of you that are completely new to this, I'm gonna explain what it is. What trends are showing about Bitcoin's future? All right, this is gonna help you understand where Bitcoin is going based on research by professionals, all right? How to own some Bitcoin. So, you know, I understand that we have people from all over the world watching, so I'll explain like different exchanges around the world, like the main ones, all right? And how to spend it. Obviously, that's important. You wanna know how to spend your Bitcoin if you start using this to create wealth for yourselves, all right? And how are people using it as a vehicle to become wealthy, all right? So what is Bitcoin? So it was created in 2009 by, and this is still a mystery, but the name, we go by the name Satoshi Nakamoto, all right? Now it works like currency. So what, you know, currency as we know it, the dollar, the euro, the yen. The only difference is you can't see it. So these are digital coins you can send through the internet, all right? First, decentralized digital currency. Now what this means, decentralized means that we don't need to use the bank. So it's literally a way for us to send value to each other without the need of a middleman, like a banks or PayPal, all right? So for example, the other day I was, actually James and I owed each other like some money because we do business together on different things. Like, so it was so easy to send Bitcoin to one another. It was like in like less than, just in just a few minutes, we both had, you know, we could just send value to one another. And that's just so amazing. You know, with banks, you have, first off, the processing fees are high, all right? And another thing is there are chargebacks. They can freeze your accounts. You have to wait 2 to 5 business days sometimes to send money to, you know, depends if it's international or not, but if I'm sending money internationally, you know, that the other person has to wait, you know, a few business days. You know, with Bitcoin, we don't have that. Lower processing fees can be done anywhere in the world, so it's like a universal currency, right? It's fast, all right? And no chargebacks, and accounts cannot be frozen, all right? So now let's talk about the trends. So what the Bitcoin trends are showing us, all right? So we really believe that this is going to be the next asset that will create the next generation of millionaires, all right? Technology just doesn't go backwards, all right? We've seen CDs replace cassette tapes. We've seen, you know, laptops replace old school computers. And soon we're gonna see digital currency replace fiat currency, all right? For many of the reasons I just explained, you know, it's, how would something that's more convenient not replace something that is not so convenient? Who would not use something that is going to cost them less, right? Because you're paying less fees to send Bitcoin through versus fiat currency. And there's just so many other reasons. We don't need the bank. You know, we can create wealth with it. So, you know, technology just progresses, all right? So we can see that a trend is emerging where, you know, there's a high correlation between lack of trust in the government and more use of digital currency. So there are specific countries where you will see that society has a very low trust in the government, and you'll see that they're using more digital currency just so that they can save their money because it's private, right? Banks cannot see or trace any of that Bitcoin that they have or cryptocurrency, whatever they're using, but Bitcoin is the main one. So, you know, Bitcoin, like banks can't interfere with what's happening with Bitcoin, like where is it going and how much is it or who is it being sent to who, right? It's just so private. Now, here are a couple of trends you guys need to see that are interesting and which will help you understand where Bitcoin is going. So there was a survey in 2016 conducted in the US, and they asked millennials if they trusted the banks. Over 92% said they don't trust governments and centralized systems, okay? And this probably came about like after the global financial crisis. And you guys don't forget that millennials pay the future, all right? So now that we know this, all right, let's see how you guys are gonna get some Bitcoin. What are the steps, all right? So the first thing is you need a Bitcoin wallet, and you can get one for absolutely free, all right? So take note of this so you guys can actually open one up. It's free to create. Just go to blockchain.info, all right? And you guys can create a wallet there for free, all right? So this is where you can kind of keep your Bitcoin. We call this a soft wallet. So you can store your Bitcoin here, or just use it as a way, you know, like, you know how we have PayPal and we send money to it and receive through it? It's the same with a Bitcoin wallet, all right? Now next, of course, you have to exchange your currency, whatever that is. Like for me, it would be the euro, and I would change it into Bitcoin, all right? So how would you go about that, all right? So you need an exchange. So it's an exchange that will allow you to do this transaction, all right? So let's look at different countries, all right? I'll just cover the main ones. So with Canada, there's Quadriga CX and there's Kraken, all right? Now, the way these exchanges works is very simple. You link your credit card or your debit card, and you literally, like with mine, the one I use, so I literally, actually, I linked my bank details, and then I had to confirm it was my actual bank. And then I would literally just use the exchange depending on how much Bitcoin I want. So I would order, for example, 500 euros worth. And I would buy the Bitcoin to the exchange and receive it either on that exchange or through the exchange. What you would do is, you know how you created a wallet here for free? So with a Bitcoin wallet, you actually get a Bitcoin wallet ID, okay? And you would link that to your exchange, all right? And they would send the money through to your Bitcoin wallet right here, all right? So different exchanges work differently, all right? But that's what YouTube is there for, and Google, because you can actually Google or YouTube how to use a specific exchange so that you don't get confused, all right? Most exchanges are very user-friendly. So there's Quadriga CX and Kraken in Canada. United States, the number one is Gemini, all right? The second one would be Glidera. Europe has Bitpanda, and Bitpanda is amazing. For those of you in Europe, I actually have, I've used Bitpanda. Basically, Bitpanda, you get verified on the same day, and on the same day you can get Bitcoin. You get on the webcam with someone, you show them your passport, and actually they verify you there on the spot, and then instantly they allow you to buy Bitcoin. So it's pretty amazing. Australia, the best one is CoinJar. I've had someone from Australia join recently. She's used CoinJar. I mean, there's a bit of a process with this, but again, it's user-friendly, but it's a bit of a waiting game with getting the Bitcoin. And by the way, while the price is still low, guys, get some, like literally after this presentation, just get started with the process of getting your Bitcoin. But CoinJar is just a matter of then once you buy your Bitcoin, they kind of give you a week to clear out like the Bitcoin, and then you can use it. But other than that, it's really easy to use, but then you just have to wait till they clear out everything. India has Zeb Pay, which is good. So Zeb, literally like the first three letters of zebra, Zeb Pay. Asia and South Africa, Luna.com. This doesn't mean that it applies for everywhere in Asia, by the way. So you have to look at different methods if you're in Asia. I mean, it really depends where. So just go to the exchange first and see if it will allow you to get Bitcoin. But if you're really stuck, guys, like Coin Mama, the specific one, Coin Mama with one M, like these are great for like if you're in South America, I believe Central America as well. So it's just a matter of just checking out a few exchanges and see like where you can get Bitcoin in exchange for your currency. And another really awesome place to get Bitcoin, especially for those of you in the US. I know I've looked at the participants. I can see that most of you are in the US. So if you get the Cash App, all right, it looks like this, the Cash App. You literally link your debit or credit card, You load some dollars on the app, all right, and then you exchange it for Bitcoin, all right. And I believe you can get this within a day, right, James? Within a day?
The same day, actually. So download the app for free, add your credit or debit card, and you can buy Bitcoin within minutes or hours. Within a couple hours. Yeah,
Perfect. Okay.
very fast. Yeah,
So
they
yeah,
just announced this too. Like the picture she has up here, that it's going to be it's available in all 50 states now. That's pretty big.
yeah. So for those of you in the United States, this is probably the best way. Just use the Cash App, just because it's so user friendly, you know. Um, Last but not least, Bitcoin ATMs. There are a ton of these even in the US, but they're around the world. Like even Philippines has these, and even Malta. I think we have a couple now. Like we have more than two, I would say. Basically, Bitcoin ATMs, the way they work is generally, but they're all different. So you would need to YouTube the one that is closest to your home. And you can do that by going to the Bitcoin ATM locator. So Google Bitcoin ATM locator, find the closest Bitcoin ATM to your home. And normally the way they work is you would have your like a code. So when you get your free Bitcoin wallet, you will also have a code, all right? And you can obviously keep a screenshot of it. You would go to the ATM, scan the code, all right? And then decide, you put in cash in the machine and it does the conversion for you and tells you how much Bitcoin you will receive. You confirm and you get it in your wallet right away. Like it's that fast.
Yeah.
But
Something I
different,
want
sorry?
something I want, yeah, something I want to add here for everybody that has never maybe used a Bitcoin ATM before. Just be careful, like Kiara was saying. Some of them charge high fees. So when you're doing your research, just make sure they'll always tell you what the percentage is that they're going to charge at the ATM in order to do the conversion. And some, if you're not careful, some people don't pay attention to that and they get charged way, way too much, like 15, 20, 25%. So just be careful that when you're doing your research, if you're going to go through Bitcoin ATM. But go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a good point. Always check the fees because Bitcoin ATMs have really high fees. But always also YouTube, like see like the brand of the Bitcoin ATM because you can look it up on YouTube and see how to use it. All right, so that you don't go there for nothing and have surprises. All right, so let's say you've gone through the procedure of getting Bitcoin. Now, how are you going to spend it? All right. Now, the good news is there are a lot more options than way before when Bitcoin came out. And every day, like more merchants are starting to accept Bitcoin as a payment. Like even for people who like have a Shopify store can accept Bitcoin as a form of payment. And let's say you like if you use Amazon a lot, you can actually go on a website called purse.io/shop. The way it works is you can literally like I believe you just create like a list of the things you want off Amazon, and people who need Bitcoin, they would purchase it for you with like some Amazon credits that they have or Amazon vouchers, and you get like the discount could vary, but normally it's like 15% off your order, and they purchase it for you, and you just pay them Bitcoin. So you do it all through purse.io, and they have like a full guide on how to do it. But this is for those of you, if you really can't find a way to get Bitcoin, look into purse.io. It will tell you how you can actually get involved and use it to earn Bitcoin for purchasing Amazon products for people. All right. Overstock. Overstock is huge. Like you can buy anything off Overstock and you can use your Bitcoin. All right. Some big companies that you know of, all right? Subway, Expedia, Shopify, Virgin Galactic, and Microsoft. They all accept Bitcoin. All right. And then there's the BitPay card. Maybe you want to talk about this, James, because I know you're familiar with BitPay.
Yeah, definitely. You can go to bitpay.com and get a free BitPay wallet set up. And then they also offer a debit card. You see it has a Visa logo on it. And basically, you can take the Bitcoin you have in your BitPay wallet and convert it to fiat currency. And say you load $1,000 US worth of Bitcoin onto the card. that would lock in the $1,000, and no matter what the market does as far as the value of Bitcoin up or down, you'd have $1,000 on that card. And like I said, wherever Visa is accepted, you can spend that fiat currency. You can even go to an ATM and withdraw cash if you wanted to. The card, I believe it's $10. I mean, I ordered mine a while ago, over a year ago, so I'm not sure if that price might have slightly changed, but I don't think it would have gone up much more than that, maybe 15 if they did increase it. It might still be $10. But it's super, super simple. Just go to bitpay.com, and like I said, you can get started. You receive the card in about a week, and it's very easy to use. And another thing too, Kiara, myself, a lot of people on our team, we've been now in this space for a while. We know how to do a lot of this stuff. We could do a lot of it with our eyes closed and our hands tied behind our back too. So it's also another advantage of working with a team with a lot of experience, because if anything is you're not sure about anything, you can always ask one of us and we can probably help you get through it very, very quickly. But this is just one of several cards that are out there. There'll be more and more of these coming out too. So obviously, as we find out about other ones, maybe even better ones than this may come out, we'll definitely let you guys know about it that are jumping on board our team. So yeah, really, really convenient.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So now that we know how to spend it, how to own it, we want to get into how you can accumulate it, because you could buy Bitcoin just like you would buy gold, right? Because Bitcoin is something that becomes more valuable over time. So we want to show you how you can accumulate it as well, because you can actually accumulate it, and we want to explain how you can do that at the lowest risk possible. All right. So for those of us familiar in the Bitcoin space, you know all of these, but you could actually just buy some, all right, and you could store it. Literally, like I said, if you had to buy gold, you could keep it, and once it's more valuable, you would go and sell it at a retailer or something. You could receive it as a form of payment, so you could use Shopify or Amazon or anywhere that allows you to accept Bitcoin. You could trade it. Trading is in fact pretty popular. However, we're like James and I are not a huge fan of it because it's too high risk. Like you could be really doing well, but then just one fine day, it just takes one slip and you can lose it all. All right. But then there's mining, all right? So mining Bitcoin, so it can have some really great returns, depending, of course, how you do it. So we're gonna explain like the different ways you can do it. And it is definitely by far the lowest risk, because when you're mining, and I'm gonna explain what mining is very soon. When you're mining, no matter whether Bitcoin is high or low, in fact, when Bitcoin goes a bit low, we're all like really happy as miners because we earn more Bitcoin. So no matter at what price Bitcoin is, you're always going to be earning as a miner, all right? So we've established that the best way to accumulate Bitcoin is by mining it. So how do you go about that, okay? And so first off, Bitcoin mining, it's literally generating Bitcoin from its source, all right? Literally. What we're doing is we're getting rewarded newly generated Bitcoin for verifying transactions, all right? Mining Bitcoin will allow you to accumulate what you originally purchased legitimately by investing in the asset that actually generates Bitcoin itself, all right? That is the Bitcoin mining hardware. And I'll soon show you pictures for those of you that have no idea what I'm talking about. I actually went to see Bitcoin miners myself. I'll tell you about that very soon. But, it's like, how you can, like I said, you can buy gold and you can keep it and it becomes more valuable over time and you can sell it when it becomes more valuable. Well, with Bitcoin, what you can do is instead of just buying it, actually, let me go back to the gold. So you could either like keep gold or you could buy a machine that prints gold for you, all right? But so now let's convert that to Bitcoin. So you can either have Bitcoin and own it, or you can buy the machine that makes the Bitcoin, all right? This is what we're talking about here. Buying the asset that creates the asset for you, literally, all right? Or buying the machine that creates the asset for you, all right? It's just putting your money to work, literally. That's what you're doing. You're putting your money to work, because If you buy Bitcoin and just leave it there, you're not putting it to work. If you buy the machine that makes it, you're putting your money to work, all right, to make more wealth for yourself.
Yeah, just to give you guys a quick example, it's like the old kid story we heard when we were younger. Many of you may have heard this story. It's the goose that lays the golden egg, right? If you think of Bitcoin, that's like the golden egg. And right now it's around 6,000 per coin. I mean, if you wanted three of them, you're looking at over $18,000 just to invest and hold three Bitcoin right now. If you just hold on to those and just wait and see what happens, 4 or 5 years from now, you'll still have just three Bitcoin. Now, they should be worth significantly higher per Bitcoin, 3, 4, 5 years from now. But once again, it's just three. But what Kiara is alluding to here is instead of just buying or investing in Bitcoin, you buy this, what she's showing right here. You buy a piece of this global Bitcoin mining operation that we're a part of, and it produces the brand new Bitcoin every day for our investors, ourselves and our investors. And that's like having the goose that lays the golden egg. Would you rather have just a couple of golden eggs or have the goose that constantly lays the golden eggs for you every day consistently, right? It's a pretty simple answer on that one. And, through compounding and leverage, what we have here, shows you how you can end up getting, end up with a lot more than just three Bitcoins a few years down the road from now. And it actually will cost you less to get involved with what we're doing than if you were to invest in three Bitcoins right now, $18,000. So that's kind of the premise of it. Back to you.
Awesome. So yeah, so back to mining. So, you can create your own Bitcoin by owning rigs, all right? So the beautiful thing about Bitcoin is you can actually generate it from home, something you can't do with normal currency like dollar, yen, whatever. Now, the only thing about buying the rigs and keeping them at home, all right, is there are quite a few disadvantages with this because, a lot of processing power is required for these rigs to generate Bitcoin. And I don't know, if you live in a place like me in Madrid where it's super hot and the electricity is like super high, I'm going to be paying really high fees in electricity. So I'm going to end up in a loss. Plus the setup of it and the maintenance, these are all disadvantages with it. So what we want to encourage you to do is, if this is something you're keen on, is take a look at a crowdfunding company, all right? Have professionals take care of it for you, okay? This is what we have been doing, and this is what we want to talk to you about. We actually go through a company called Bitclub Network. This is the facility I visited. I'll show you a couple of pictures soon just to show you guys it's actually real. But basically what Bitclub does is it brings people together versus you mining alone, all right? So that, because if we crowdfund together, all right, we can have one big supercomputer. We can solve more transactions, generate more Bitcoin, and then have the Bitcoin dispersed equally amongst all members, all right? Now, guys, you have to bear in mind, Bitcoin is not slowly actually, it's happening quite quickly. Every day, there's so much awareness on the news, but every day, Bitcoin is growing in popularity. So, the more there's demand for it, the more the harder it is to mine it, all right? So if we come together and crowdfund and have one computer, we can solve more transactions versus you doing it alone, all right? Now, how to get involved with Bitclub? Literally, it's as simple as, first off, you need to own some Bitcoin, all right, like I showed you. And if you get stuck, guys, in fact, at the end, I'll remind you guys, you just have to go to the person that told you to come to this presentation. Tell them to help you through getting some Bitcoin, okay? We have all had to get some Bitcoin and go through this process, so we can help you with that, all right? But it's as simple as then using Bitclub to buy the miners, and they do all the hard work for you. So they purchase the hardware, they set it up for you. Currently in Iceland, all right, the facility is up there. I actually went to see it in Iceland. In fact, this is me in Iceland with one of my good friends, and we're holding a miner because they gave us one each, and that's what generates the Bitcoin, guys. So they do all the hard work for you, and they set it up in Iceland. Alternatively, if you guys want, they can have it shipped to your door. So if you don't want them to do it for you, you can pay for it, and then you just have like input your address, and they'll send it to you right to your home. Okay. So what happens in Iceland? And that's me holding the rig, the miner, outside the facility. It's highly secure inside. In fact, but the next picture, I'll show you the facility from inside. So once your equipment is plugged into the rest of our supercomputer, it helps secure Bitcoin transactions, and it secures the network. So for all Bitcoin transactions that take place through our data center, we get rewarded in Bitcoin for securing those transactions, and all miners get paid equally in Bitcoin. And that is how you accumulate Bitcoin, okay? And you make more than what you originally purchased, all right? So that's your goal, is to make more than what you originally purchased, all right? Which is why I say put your money to work versus just, buying the Bitcoin. You're having something that literally just generates Bitcoin for you. All right, yep. This is inside the center. These are all rigs plugged to one another. And guys, it's so cold in there, I was going to die. The reason it's set up in Iceland is because Iceland is geothermal. It's always cold. And these machines, literally, they need so much processing power that this is a smart setup. Having it in Iceland where it's cold, all right? The electricity costs are much cheaper than, say, having to do it in Madrid. It's just doing it here would be insane and one of the dumbest things to do. All right.
Yeah. One other thing I want to throw out there too is these machines, these computers, they run 24/7, and they get so hot that if you don't have the proper cooling system in place, the chips literally, they melt, they disintegrate. There's so many disadvantages of trying to do this at home, and it's really not profitable anymore because of all the expenses. But then you need the technical skill and the technical know-how to keep it properly cooled, or they literally melt and disintegrate. So that's another advantage of working with a massive organization like this, because like Kiara said, 24/7 professionals watching over it, maintaining it. If anything ever goes wrong, they can get in there, fix it, replace it. And it's just, you don't have to deal with any of those headaches because they deal with them for us. So it's pretty awesome. Back to you.
Yeah, in fact, Matt left a comment in the chat, actually more of a quick question. So basically buy now and sit on it and let it accumulate. Exactly. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. I could talk about that real quick before you continue.
Yeah, go for it.
She mentioned it earlier that there's only going to ever be 21 million Bitcoins manufactured or produced, right? And every 4 years, we have what's called a halving event. The next one's coming up in about June, July of 2020. So, less than 2 years away. It's not a lot of time. You think, 2 years or a little bit less than 2 years. We all know how fast time moves and how quickly it goes. That'll be here before you know it. But every 4 years, the reward for solving a block gets cut in half. So right now, it's 12.5 Bitcoin every time our organization's what's called hits a block or solves a block. But once the next halving event hits, it gets cut in half, and it's going to be 6.25 Bitcoin, right? So what's happening is, like we alluded to earlier, the awareness and the demand for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general is continuing to rise. And then every 4 years or so, the supply basically gets cut in half. So it's just simple supply and demand. The price has nowhere else to go but up, if you understand supply and demand, right? Because every 4 years, the supply is getting cut basically in half, but the demand is continuing to rise and rise and rise. That's why it's so important to really pay attention to this information and be very thankful and blessed that you even know about it, because most people don't even know this stuff exists or our mining operation exists yet. It's so early on. But the window to capitalize and really monetize this is not as big as most people realize. There's still plenty of time, but you got to really get your due diligence done and get involved as soon as possible, because the sooner you get involved, obviously the more you can profit from it. So back to you.
Awesome, thank you. All right, so another, just to give you guys a bit of proof we're there. I mean, like you saw, I went to the facility in Iceland. But you can look at blockchain, the place where I told you to get a free wallet. If you look up blockchain hash rate distribution, you will see that Bitclub is one of the top 10 Bitcoin mining companies in the world. But from the top 10, if you actually had to knock on these doors, no one will allow you to crowdfund with them. So we are the only we're the only facility, club, I should call it, that will allow you to, join us, crowdfund with us, and, just enjoy the dividends with us. Other like these others wouldn't let you do that.
Yeah, those are mostly like government-run facilities, like government-run organizations. So you can't, like she's saying, you can't even participate in those. And by the way, you see here the top one right there on this chart. I'm not sure when this picture was taken, but it's saying 15.1%. We're on track to be at 15% of the entire Bitcoin blockchain. That's our goal. And when we hit that, we'll definitely be in the top 3 in the world out of all Bitcoin mining operations, which is pretty incredible. And we're not stopping there. Actually, we have a goal to eventually be the #1 Bitcoin mining operation on the planet. And I'm confident we're going to hit that goal. It's not a matter of if we're going to achieve it. It's just a matter of how long is it going to take us. And it's exciting stuff because obviously that just means more Bitcoin for all of our investors and just more prosperity for everyone that's involved and that's about to get involved. So pretty exciting stuff. So go ahead, go back. Wanted to throw it back to you.
Yeah, and we also have a facility that's going live this month in Montana because we're just literally the facility in Iceland is too big now, so they opened another facility in Montana, so that we can continue to grow and achieve all these targets we have as a club that James was talking about right now. So how do you get involved with Bitclub? What are the costs? Because I can imagine that these are the next questions that are popping in your head. So to join the club, you have to come to the person that invited you here. And first off, like I said, you'd need to get the Bitcoin. So obviously bear in mind that you have to translate all of this into Bitcoin. And by the way, if you go to an exchange like xe.com, xe.com literally is the most popular exchange probably online. You can actually convert dollars to Bitcoin or euro to Bitcoin. It's pretty amazing. So to join the club, it's $99. It's one-off for the membership. And then obviously you need to pay for your miners, right? Now, one thing before I forget, this is one-off, right? You never pay it again. So there are no hidden fees after you pay for your membership and your miners, all right? So let me get to the cost of the miners now. So if you want, we have what we call pools, and we have 3 pools. So you can either just buy one miner, that's pool 1. It will cost you $500, all right? Pool 2 is $1,000. You'll have 2 of those miners you saw in my hand. Pool 3 is $2,000, and you'll get 4 miners, all right? Now, if you want, you can have dibs on all 3 pools, and we call that the founders pool. It's $3,500, all right? Now, every miner is valid for 1,000 days. However, we have what is called the repurchase, which you'll see over here. I don't know if it's big enough, but basically, let's say you get pool 1, it says 50% repurchase. And by the way, you can change these once you buy your miners and you can log into your dashboard. You can see that you can even put it up to 100% or 60%, so you can change these up. But they set them up like this. So if you get pool 1, it's 50%. So basically, when you start mining, every day they give you the ROI. Is it every day, James, or is it every week?
Every day, every 24 hours. There's actually there's a clock in your back office. That's part of the $99 membership, that lifetime membership fee she was talking about. You get a back office where you can log in and see everything happening in real time. And there's actually a 24-hour clock that's back there that counts backwards. And when it hits 0, the payout happens for the passive investors shortly after that, a few minutes later. And then it starts another 24-hour countdown, basically. So yeah, you can check everything out in your back office in real time. And you're always in control 100% of the time as well.
Perfect.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks for confirming that. But yeah, so sure. Pool 1 is 50% repurchase. So basically it's set that way so that when you earn your ROI every day, they take 50% and put it into new machines for you. The reason they do this is so that once your first, like the first miners you bought expire, because they're valid for 1,000 days, because you have to understand that they are like solving these huge mathematical equations to generate the Bitcoin and to solve transactions. So because the difficulty can increase, it does increase as Bitcoin popularity increases, mining the difficulty increases as well. So we're going to need more updated software, more updated machines. So what they do is they do this repurchase for you so that you never run out of hardware. All right, so we're going to recommend that you actually have that repurchase set there. All right. Pool 2 has 40%, Pool 3 has 30%. All right. The expected ROI, right? So for each share, more or less, is 3 to 5% ROI in dollars per month. And what we want you to keep in mind is, ask yourself how much do you earn by keeping your money in the bank. I know for me it's much less than 2%. So I'd much rather have my miners instead and have them.
And that's per year when you think about it, guys, right? I mean, most people don't even have 2 or 3% ROI in 12 months. So we're talking about on average per month here. And keep in mind, this is not a guarantee or a promise, but this is what we've done on average, since Bitclub launched in 2014. It's pretty cool. And when you, like I said, think about if you have a savings account and, how much is that paying you every year? And just think of the comparisons there. So back to you, Kiara.
Thank you. All right. So basically what we're saying is an investment with Bitclub means you are creating an endless supply of Bitcoin. If you don't mess around with those, not don't mess around, but let's say you keep your repurchases set there. Basically what this means is you're always going to have miners in place generating Bitcoin for you. In fact, most of us have them set at 100% because we want to just generate as many machines as quickly as possible, that once the value of Bitcoin is like really high, we can set them at say 50% so that we actually start earning Bitcoin daily in our pockets. And then but we'll have that set in that way once the Bitcoin is more valuable. All right. So if you invest in a miner, you're always going to have miners because of that repurchase that's in place. Okay. Now that's basically more or less with, we call it passive earning with Bitclub. However, for those of you that are interested, and this is optional, guys, I want to make myself really clear because I get this asked a lot. This is optional. I mean, if you don't want to do what I'm about to talk about, you will earn passively just by buying a miner and leaving it there, like sitting on it, like Matt us, sitting on it and let it accumulate. All right. Now, my other ultimate favorite way to generating Bitcoin is by participating in the Bitcoin compensation program. All right. So basically, because we're crowdfunding, all right, basically what we're doing is we're buying in bulk. And when you buy in bulk, like anything else, all right, the cost comes down, right? So I don't know, like at the supermarket here, you can buy, for example, one, like I buy my almond milk in bulk. So if you buy one, it's more expensive than say buying 6 in one go. If you divide it by 6, they're cheaper, right? Because you're buying in bulk. It's the same with miners. If you buy in bulk, we can bring it down even up to 60%, all right? So because of this amazing price cut, Bitclub will compensate us generously for bringing people in and helping them with bringing the cost down by 60%, all right? And believe me, guys, this has been like the easiest sell for me because everyone wants their hands on Bitcoin right now. They want to know like the easiest way to accumulate it without doing anything, right? So like even my mom and dad got involved, and my niece and my nephew and my brother and my cousins. I was like, whoa, I didn't even sell it to them. Like they just heard me talk Bitcoin and they wanted to get involved with me. So, why Bitclub Network's compensation plan offers true wealth. All right. So first off, guys, the membership fee is one-off. So this means we have 100% retention. People can never get out of the club. All right. And Bitclub will reward you for bringing people in for life. So for example, last year, myself alone, I got close to 200 people in. And now all those people are still in Bitclub because they don't have any hidden costs. As I mentioned before, you pay everything once and that's it. All right. So Bitclub will reward you for bringing people in, and for life, this means, how I was talking about the repurchases before. So what Bitclub does is, instead of charging people these monthly membership fees, which is, in my opinion, ridiculous, and I know that James and many other people here agree with me, instead of doing that to you, what they do is, for example, if I join Repeat, every time repurchases are done on my behalf through Bitclub, they take a percentage and they reward the person who brought me in, right? So imagine this happening over time every day and in Bitcoin, right? If you keep it there, what you earn today in Bitcoin is going to be worth much more in a couple of years, all right? Nobody ever runs out of miners due to the repurchases. We always get rewarded in Bitcoin, which is an asset that appreciates over time, all right? So this is true passive income, guys. You guys have probably heard about passive income. I mean, I've had many companies, like, given I did network marketing before, I mean, all the companies promised me like this passive income, and they're like, you're gonna have freedom, and I used to build my empire, and then all of a sudden, I don't know, they either change the compensation plan or they get shut down because they did something shady. Oh my goodness, I still want to cry. Or people just don't make money with it, so they stop paying their monthly membership fees. So there goes my monthly passive income. Not with Bitclub. First off, they have a longevity plan, all right? They have a physical attribute. I mean, these guys have facilities, and you guys, by the way, for those of you that are interested, you can even go and see this facility in Iceland. I mean, they have set tours because these facilities are like so secure. But we have, in November, we have actually tours, and they take up to 200 people a day inside. You guys can see for yourselves, it's actually there, and that we're real, all right? So yeah, so on top of all this as well, guys, I don't want to overwhelm you guys. In fact, I'm just gonna show you this, and then I'll stop here. But with Bitclub, the way the compensation plan is set up, I don't know how many of you are familiar with binary here, but you can earn up to $2,400 a day with us, all right? This is just from promoting, all right? Because once you start selling miners, there are multiple income streams that come with it inside Bitclub, all right? And we have what we call the binary, and once you start selling miners, you start earning credits. So let's say I sell pool 1 today to someone, all right? They pay their membership fee, and then they buy their $500 miner, all right? That gives me 3 credits. Now, once I start earning credits, I can place those credits on the left and the right. I mean, the way our team works is like, like my sponsor, builds one side for me, and then I just build the other, and I do the same with my members. So for every 15 credits you build on the left and right, you get $200 in Bitcoin. So this is just like an extra income stream, but like I said, I don't want to overwhelm you. So what you guys can do is you can get started with this, and then you can look at the compensation plan later and see if this is something you want to promote later on. And by the way, guys, if you join us as a team, we actually have like calls every Monday, and we help you guys actually promote it. We even have a system in place and a strategy in place. So we actually do want to help you with this. So yeah, James, I'm not sure if you want to add anything.
Yeah, I want to add something here real quick.
Mhm.
When I first heard Bitclub Network had a binary compensation plan, I had always like not got involved with binary compensation plans before because the other companies I've seen that had that type of comp plan, never really, never really survived because it's just usually a flawed plan. But this is a hybrid. It's a hybrid binary compensation plan with like a unilevel where you make money upfront and money on the back end, like we were talking about. The upfront commissions are anywhere from 5 to 8% on what somebody invests into BitClub. That's the one-time commission. And then on the back end, every time they have those repurchases go through, which happen automatically, it's 10 to 18%. And actually, to get to the top of the compensation plan where you're earning 8% upfront every time and then 18% on the back end, it's not as difficult as you think, and we can definitely assist you to get there very, very fast. But think about that, 18%. I mean, that's at a point when you have someone maybe reinvesting 10,000 per month, that'd be paying you $1,800 per month in Bitcoin per person. If you just had a team of 10 people doing that, that's $18,000 every month in residual income. And keep in mind, like we said earlier, you're getting paid in Bitcoin. So over time, that asset, if everything goes according to plan, obviously we don't have a crystal ball, but that should be worth a lot more a year, 2, 3, 4 years from now. So, and another thing, in other companies, when I looked at the binary comp plan that I shied away from, they had products like a travel membership or some kind of educational program or some kind of health and nutritional company where they just had maybe one product, like a main product or some kind of juice or vitamin. And the problem with those is, like Kiara said earlier, those all have monthly auto ships. So you have to pay whatever, 80, 100, 110 a month. And most people get into something like that and they get involved with network marketing. For the most part, they're looking to supplement or replace their income. And if they're not earning a profit after 30, 60, 90 days, what do? They quit, right? And they quit paying that monthly auto ship. So the binary kind of collapses, it blows up. But with Bitclub Network, our product is literally a machine that prints you money in the form of Bitcoin every single day. Nobody turns that off. Why would you turn off a machine that's literally printing you money every day, right, in the form of Bitcoin? So nobody quits, like we said before. And that's why a binary comp plan here thrives, especially the way we build it as a team and work together. So I just wanted to throw that out there, but definitely back to you, Kiara.
Thank you.
You got it.
All right. So yeah, so basically, I came towards the end of this, and I'll give you guys some steps just to make this easier for you. But
Sorry to jump out there again, but hey, if anyone has any questions, you might want to start putting them in the chat as we start to wind down the presentation. Then we can get to those after she's done. Go ahead.
Yeah, good idea, guys. Just use the chat, guys. Just literally any questions you have, throw them at us. We're in no rush. It's 2 in the morning for me, but I'm amped up, so I'm happy to stay here as long as we need. All right. So just to finalize, these are just a few pictures from last year. These two were taken in Iceland when I went to visit the facility. If you guys want to go in November, I'm going to say just go for it because Iceland is gorgeous. And I'm actually thinking of going myself again in November. It's just going to have to be a last minute decision. This here is in Acapulco. Again, I went to a Bitclub event because Bitclub actually holds events for people that actually take the compensation plan seriously. I mean, you have to get to a certain level of promoting with this to attend the events, but some of the events they have are amazing. They had one in Dubai. They had another one on an island they bought called Bitclub Island. And we actually got to see it on a team training we had together the last couple of weeks, I think, or 3 weeks ago. And Bitcoin's been changing my life, guys. Like, the other day I made $520 just in a day. And, it's just from building this. And then, because of the way the compensation plan works, you can literally put in like just a minimum amount of time. Maybe in the beginning until, if you decide to promote this, this has nothing to do with the passive. The passive, you buy the miners, done, leave them, don't touch them. But the promoting side of things, if you want to add that additional income stream, that will really change your life. This is like honestly, guys, there's nothing else I want to touch to create a passive income stream. Just because both James and I know the leadership, and they're extremely transparent with us. Like every time we had a challenge, they were so straight up with us. They would get on a Zoom call and explain what's happening and how they plan to solve it. And not one time that they let us down. Like everything they said they will like do for us, they've done it. So this is why we love Bitclub so much. And you know, the person that brought me in is one of the founders, and I actually got to hang out with him here in Mexico, in Iceland, in Malta, and I can't wait to actually meet him again. But yeah, it's life-changing, you know, so.
Yeah, and that's what it's about. It's about the freedom that something like this can provide you. We always talk about it, Kiara and I, and a lot of people we work with share the similar mindset and a similar philosophy. You know, it sounds odd, but money is a bit overrated, right? It's not about the money. It's about what that money can do for you, like the freedom it can provide you and give you the option to maybe do more with your family. Instead of one vacation a year, maybe you can go on 3 or 4, you know, and it's whatever is personal or whatever is special to you. It might not be that, it could be something completely different. But that's why we get so excited about working with new people, because this really gives them a vehicle to set themselves free financially for the rest of their lives if they take it seriously. And don't get me wrong, this is a lot of fun. We have so much fun. We laugh constantly. We have a great time. When it comes down to getting things done and accomplished, we definitely can focus and get it done. But we have a blast. I mean, I've never had this much fun in my entire career, and it's been a pretty incredible career, pretty long-lasting career. And I've been a part of some really great companies, built some strong teams. But hands down, bar none, this is the best thing I've ever been a part of. And it's just been a blast having so much fun working together. And a big reason for that is, too, because of the duplication that we're seeing. I've never had this much duplication in my organization in anything else I've ever built. And just to give you a quick idea, when you take a look at Kiara's organization and my organization, building our teams in less than a year, it was even less than that, but you know, we produced, our team collectively produced close to $5 million in total team sales. And we don't share those numbers with you to try to impress you or brag or anything like that. Just want to demonstrate what we're doing is working, and it's actually getting a lot better. I mean, we feel the next 6 to 12 months we're going to do even better. So we would love for any of you that are taking a serious look at this to be a part of it and work with us. So a lot of incredible things happening now and about to happen. So exciting stuff.
Awesome. Yeah. So yeah, we're pretty excited because we just know where this is going. So we would love to have you on the team. So just to give you guys, like, put everything in a nutshell for you. So there are 5 steps to getting started. So step 1, you need to get your, we call it the soft wallet. This is where you're going to send Bitcoin. So we recommend blockchain.info. All right, this is where you can also see the hash rate distribution and see Bitclub there. But you can create your free wallet there. All right, and then find an exchange to exchange some of your currency into Bitcoin. Now, obviously, if you're going to get the miners with us, then see which one you want. Obviously, we recommend that you get the founder's position. Or even more. I've had people get set up with much more. So did James. So see how much you want to invest and exchange it into Bitcoin, all right, using an exchange in your country, all right? Then what you guys need to do is, now, normally you could just go on the website and get a member, like a free account. However, for those of you in the US, you have an extra step, which means you need to get a VPN. And you can use opera.com. I've heard of TunnelBear. I know there was another one, James. Which one was it? Do you know?
Pure VPN?
Pure VPN?
Yes.
Okay, but James is in the US. That's why I'm consulting with him. So, Pure VPN. The reason we do this is just to cover you up with the IRS, you know, so that it's all like protected, you know. Then you need to go to the person who actually brought you to the Zoom and ask them for their Bitclub Network link, or you can ask them to enroll you. And the next slide will tell you what they need to enroll you with Bitclub. All right, it's very easy. They only need a couple of things from you. Step 4 is use the Bitcoin you got to pay for the one-off $99 membership fee. All right, this will be prompted right after you verify your account. This will be the next thing you need to do. And you just follow the instructions. And if you get stuck, you just SMS or message the person that brought you to this webinar to help you with this step. All right. Step 5, get your mining pool going, and that's it. Super easy. But again, what you could do is, to make this easier, especially for those of you in the US, what you could do is literally send the following to your to the person who brought you here. Send them your first name, last name, email, username, and they can set up a generic password for you, which you can change once you're in the back office to your account details. But this will allow them to enroll you even if you don't have the VPN yet. All right, and at least you'll have your free account even until you get your Bitcoin sorted, because that can take a bit of a while. So I'm just gonna give you guys a heads up. The step 1 is going to take the longest, getting the Bitcoin. But once you have the Bitcoin, it's really a smooth ride from there. All right. I mean, for those of you that, you would need to coordinate with the person who brought you, but maybe you might want them to even do everything for you. Like, I've had people who have sent me the Bitcoin, and I would get their account, buy their membership, buy their pool, and then I would send them their login details and whatnot. But it's better if you do it yourselves, because if you decide to build Bitclub, you need to explain this to people. All right, you can use the presentation as well. All right, so getting involved is easy. Just get back to the person who sent you here. In the meantime, if you have questions, guys, please just throw them in the chat. And we want to thank you for watching, and we really hope to see you at a future Bitclub event, because we always have some lined up in the future. Maybe some of you decide to come to Iceland in November 2018. And if I happen to go, it would be so awesome to meet you there. James, I'm not sure if you want to add anything.
Yeah, I mean, just I think we covered it all. If you guys have a question, you could put it in the chat, or chat question or comment. I think we already answered Matt's question there. Basically, buy now. Yeah, I mean, because when you look at the price of Bitcoin, like we said, it's the fact that it's under 7,000 right now is an incredible opportunity. A lot of people think, oh, that it's so low, it's a bad thing. But as a miner, as a Bitcoin miner, and having a Bitcoin mining operation, that's what we said before. I mean, the fact that it's low gives us so much more upside. You want to accumulate and stack as much of it as possible right now. You can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can see. I just stopped screen sharing, so I can see.
No. I just thought my mic was not working or something. But yeah, so you want to acquire as much of it now in the next 1, 2, 3 years, because I mean, there's experts predicting that it's going to be worth 500,000 a coin. Some people have predicted 1 million per Bitcoin. I mean, who knows if we'll really hit that? I mean, a lot of people believe it. I would not be shocked if we see that in the next 3, 4, 5 years. It could happen much sooner. But the bottom line is, even if it would just hit 100,000 per coin, and you accumulated or acquired 50 of them, or 60, 70, 80, do the math in just the next 2, 3 years. I mean, it's just staggering the amount of wealth you can acquire in a relatively short amount of time. And like we said, this is not difficult. It's all about putting this information in front of the right people and in front of the right crowd. And this will convert. This offer will convert. And like Kiara, myself, so many other leaders on our team, those of you that want to get active and build a team, we'll assist you. This is what we do. We love this, and we love working with our team. So definitely take a serious look at this if you've just got involved with it or just found out about it, and let's rock and roll. But I don't know if we have any questions. We might have done such a great job. There's no questions. Anyone have a question or comment? If not, we can close it out.
Hey, James, it's Pete.
Oh, Pete, what's going on, man?
What's up, buddy? Great presentation, guys. I just wanted to add my 2 cents, if that's okay, real quick. Great job.
We love it.
Here's a couple things that I can say for sure. Out of the 4 wealthy, 4 highest earners I've ever met in MLM. I met one guy in an elevator down in Miami, and he did it in a diet. But the other 3 are in Bitclub that I've ever met in this whole industry, okay? The other thing is the guy that showed this to me is a friend of mine. I watched him go from kind of couch surfing, always been a fun person, but he has more fun than anybody I've ever met in this industry. He's literally goes to 200 countries. They have an island. He's got property in Acapulco. He has more fun than anybody I've ever met. So Bitcoin can give you massive amounts of freedom, and it transcends country lines. It transcends, so you can spend it anywhere, and that you can't say that for everything. You can go, because you can't go on planes with a lot of money and stuff like that, but you can have a Bitcoin wallet and go to another country and live there and just have a blast. The other thing is, I like James was saying, I'm not a huge fan of binaries. I've actually always avoided them, but this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Someone can join your team on your 100th level, okay? You'll never know who they are. You'll never meet them. You literally get as much credit as the person that showed it to them. And when you understand that, it's mind-boggling. We have never had anybody, me, James, and Kiara join our team and run out of points on the side that we're building for them. That hasn't happened once, and we're going to continue to support our team. And that's just something we wanted to do. We don't have to do that, but it's something we wanted to do to make it half as easy for the people that have faith in us and join our team. And I'm just blown away. My only regret is that I didn't start sooner, because I became a customer with just $500. I mined almost a whole Bitcoin, okay, for $500. And that's when I started paying attention, over a year later. And I don't regret anything, but if I had started just that year earlier, my life would be on a whole nother level. And I have a great life, but it would be on a whole nother level, like my friend Joby and like some of these other guys that I met. I talked to my friend the other day. He has 500 founder positions. 500. Okay, that's how much faith he has in Bitclub, and you can do the math on that. And I also had lunch this weekend with a gentleman who has made many, many, many millions of dollars, and he was also traveling the world like our friend Joby. So the people in Bitclub are having the best time ever. They're the happiest people. They've got the brightest future. You make $1, in another company, you might make $1 and then you've got your dollar. But here at Bitclub, you make $1 and it can be worth $5, $10, $12 down the road, because I firmly believe Bitcoin is going to be worth, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's just math. We've got the ETFs coming in, the traders coming in the next few weeks. And when if just a millionaires in America wanted one Bitcoin, there wouldn't be enough. So it's just math. It's ultimately going to happen. And I love it when Bitcoin's down, because if you understand our comp plan, we earn $200 in Bitcoin when someone cycles. Well, if that Bitcoin's cheaper, then we're getting bigger pieces of Bitcoin. And when me and James and Kiara started last year, when it was low, we had days where we were earning a whole Bitcoin in one day. So we want the price to be low as a marketer, as a promoter of Bitclub. And then we know long-term that it's going to be much, much, much higher. So, think long-term, play the long game. I've tried trading. I've tried buying Bitcoins and predicting the price. And this is over the course of the last 5.5 years. And most of my traders have come back to me and said, Pete, you would have done better if you would have just held the Bitcoin rather than me trying to predict the price. I failed. And I wasn't mad at them, but it was a lesson learned. And the same thing with myself. I've never been able to accurately predict it. So if you mine Bitcoin on a daily basis, you're going to win in the end. It's much less stressful. And you don't have to be a genius. You don't have to be Nostradamus to figure it out. You're just constantly getting more and more and more and more. So this is the most amazing program absolutely in the Bitcoin space, and could be even in all of network marketing space ever. So I love it. Thanks, guys.
Awesome, Pete. Awesome, man. Appreciate that. Yeah. So anyone else have a question or comment? Maybe someone else on the team wants to come out there and say something.
Yeah, I see Scott, Christy. If you guys just want to come out, talk with us.
Hey, can you hear me?
Hi,
Yes.
Scott.
Hey, so I just joined and I love this team. Awesome people to work with. such a bright future we're going to have here. And I urge everybody to just take it seriously, everything that was talked about today. Without question, just take it seriously because your life will change. My life is changing, and we're all excited. We all have a lot of good, positive energy here, and we support each other, and that's really what it's about. So, yeah, I'm excited.
Awesome.
We're excited to work with you.
Yeah, definitely. It's been awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, guys, like, oh, I thought someone had a question, but it was just somebody mentioning a time. Yeah, like Scott said, I mean, the time is now. There's, like I said before, too, the window. We have a window here. It's not as big as everyone realizes. And the fact that you're even putting some time into this and learning about this space, you should pat yourself on the back because, like I said, most people don't even know this space exists. So you ask 10 random people if they know what Bitcoin is, you know, maybe 2 will say they've heard of it or something like that, or 1. And if you ask them if they own any Bitcoin or if they own a Bitcoin wallet, most of the time they say no. You know, so the fact is, the bottom line is the opportunity here is massive, but the time is now. So don't squander it. You don't want to be looking back 2, 3, 4 years from now and say, wow, I could have got involved that early on and I didn't take the shot. So that's all I wanted to say, and just looking forward to working with all those that are about to join our team. It's going to be incredible. And unless we got somebody else that has something to share, we can throw it to you, Kiara, to close it out.
All right. It doesn't look like it. Someone said, thank you for inviting me to the call. You're very welcome, John. And Ted's going to bed, so good night. All right, guys. So what I'm going to do is, first off, I want to thank you all for taking the time. I've noticed that most of you, like close to 100% of you, joined the call and you stayed on the call. So I really want to say thank you. Both James and I really enjoy these presentations. We love sharing the stage together. And yeah, just get back to the person who sent you here. Send us an SMS back or email, however you were invited. And yeah, with that being said, have an awesome day, evening, wherever you are in the world. I'm just going to, what I will do is unmute all the lines. So if you guys want to say goodbye, Joy has a shout out goodbye. So here we go.
Good night, everybody. Love you guys. Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thanks very much.
Great job, Kiara. As always, you rocked it.
Great job.
Thanks, Pete.
All right, guys. Have a great night. See you on the next one.
Yes.
All right.
Bye.